It depends on the gun, it depends on what you use it for, and it also depends on how many rounds you're putting through it. So if we talk about like how many trips to the range, well, I don't know. Do you shoot 1,000 rounds when you go to the range? Or do you shoot 150 rounds or 60 rounds when you go to the range? So basically it's how much ammunition are you putting through this thing. It also depends on the gun, because some firearms will be malfunctioning right off the hop, the minute you put 200 rounds through it. Other firearms, the minute they get a little bit dirty, that's it. They won't function, they'll start to malfunction. And also, it depends what you have the gun for. So I have guns that are just toys that I would take to the range, shoot or whatever. Yeah, you know what, I probably wouldn't clean them until they started to malfunction, and that's okay. I have other guns that I need to be able to bet my life that they will fire when I pull the trigger. So if I had a gun and I really needed that thing to shoot no matter what, personally, and it may seem extreme to some people, I would probably detail strip it every time that I took it out shooting and shot, quite a few rounds, like detailed strip.
This is why I clean my gun after every time I use it. And if it's my concealed carry gun, I wipe it down at least once a week and do an inspection of it.
Now, if you're a new gun owner and someone told you that you should be cleaning your guns after every range session, it's not true. You don't have to do that, not at all. Especially if you're buying high quality equipment, high quality firearms, you do not need to clean them after every range session, unless you're shooting 1,000 rounds every range session, which most people aren't. So don't be fooled by those people that tell you that, because it's just not true. Now, what do I recommend for cleaning schedules? If you're running a normal modern striker-fired handgun or something similar, I recommend you cleaning it every 1,000 to 3,000 rounds, depending on what the purpose is of it. I like to lube my guns a little bit more often and then clean them every so often.
How often should I clean my gun? And that's always a tough question for me, because I generally don't clean my guns. And that's not the answer most people want to hear. They want a definite number, so they know what to expect. And the thing is, for the majority of people that are going to shoot, a few hundred rounds through the gun in the life of the gun, it probably never needs to be cleaned. You'll need to do rust preventative, depending on how it's stored, how it's carried in your environment. But as far as the internal working parts, yeah, you probably don't need to clean it. Some people like to clean their guns, and they'll clean them religiously each and every time they shoot the gun. And that's more about prolonging the enjoyment of the gun handling experience. So,
if you are someone who doesn't do that style of shooting, doesn't go out to the range and shoot hundreds, if not thousands of rounds in a sitting, you don't need to clean your gun every time you get home. And I know for a lot of us, that's kind of like that therapeutic. I got home, this is my relaxed time, I'm gonna watch TV, I'm gonna sit there, I'm gonna scrub my weapon. I get it. I enjoy doing, cleaning some of my weapons, not all of them. I don't like taking everything apart, but you don't have to do it every time.
Well, based on the pistol that I like to use, which is the Glock series, you don't have to clean it very often at all. It runs for a long, long time. If you see it start hiccuping and getting some failures to fire and some stovepipes and things like that, then obviously break it down, clean it, make sure it doesn't do that, and if it's not, rock on and keep shooting. For functional, range use, recreational use, you don't have to be cleaning it all the time. And then for a Glock, a couple thousand probably, just because they're so reliable.
Right.
But definitely do learn how to field strip your gun, and obviously make sure that you unload it before you do any weapon handling with it at all, just to be safe.
There's two types of cleaning when it comes to firearms. There's something called a field strip, or there's something called a detailed strip. So a field strip is basically, I'll demonstrate on this. I've got a semi-automatic handgun. A field strip basically is, make sure this thing's not loaded, which of course it wouldn't be here, but always double check. A field strip is when I take the major components. So in the case of a semi-automatic handgun, it's usually 4 parts, right? You got the grip and the frame here, you've got the recoil spring, the barrel, and the slide. So basically, the field strip is, I take those components apart, I clean the slide, I clean the barrel, and I clean the grip and the frame. Just kind of brush around in there a little bit, wipe it out with the patch, and reassemble it and function test it, and that is a field strip. Or there's a detail strip. Now the detail strip is when I disassemble the slide completely, I pull the firing pin, I get the springs out of there, I pull the extractor, everything, polish all of those parts, when it comes to the grip and the frame, everything. I polish all those parts and then reassemble the whole gun as if it were brand new. I put it all back together, I function test it, and that's called a detail strip.
Well, if you didn't know, now you know.